You are listening to the Thin Pink Line podcast, brought to you by the European LGBT Police Association. Greetings and welcome. 2024 marks 20 years of the European LGBT Police Association. To commemorate this milestone achievement, we will be producing a number of special 20th anniversary podcasts looking back over the last 20 years. So make sure that you like and subscribe in order to be notified when each new episode becomes available. Back in 2004, a European LGBT police conference took place in Amsterdam. It was during that conference that the delegates agreed to create what would become the European Gay Police Association, the former name of EGPA. One of the conference organisers, Jan Snijder, from the Dutch police, was one of the founding members of EGPA and would go on to become its first president. So we are delighted, therefore, to have Jan as our first guest in this 20th anniversary of EGPA podcast. So without further ado, let's take a trip back in time and hear from Jan, in his own words, about those early years of EGPA.
I'm Jan Snijder. I was a chief inspector at the police of the Netherlands, and I was the first president of the EGPA. And I was the founder of the EGPA with another guy, Barend Emens, from the police of Amsterdam. Barend passed away already in 2011, right quick after his retirement. That's a pity. But we are the two persons who started just the EGPA in 2004. And we were very busy with organizing the conference in 2004 in Amsterdam. That was possible because we have in the Dutch police a diversity center. And in that diversity center, they raised the idea, why shouldn't we organize a conference of LGBT people working at the police? Because we know that it's not always that easy to be gay inside of the police organization. Of course, I'm not talking about 20 years ago. Hopefully, it's now a bit better. I think in Holland it's more or less okay, but also it depends on what part of Holland you live. In the big cities, it's neither a problem, but in other small cities, it can be a problem. So that is why we started in 2024, and then we asked the people in Europe, and the person I just named Barend Emens, who had already few contacts through holidays on internet and all those things, and they reached him for saying, yes, I'm coming to Amsterdam to the conference. Now, that conference started then in the beginning of August, something like that, because it was linked to the Canal Pride of in Amsterdam, because that's 1 and 2 makes 2. That's very nice for who is there. And in that conference, there we decided as a club, what shall we do now for the next step? And that was, yes, we have to raise an organization, an association for like EGPA. Then in the year after that, I think in the winter of 2005, then the people who wanted to be on the board were from different countries, came to Amsterdam, and then we have worked out different things. Go on. There was the countries. Sweden was there, UK was there, Germany was there, Austria. I don't know, but because we started with a small group, more or less, and there we decided in that meeting, yes, we have to organize conferences because that make the people noticeable that there are gays inside of the police force. When they think they are not there, they are there. And then we say we will do that every 2 years. We had already Amsterdam. Then 2005, the EGPA in UK was celebrating that they were existing 10 years or 15 years, something like that. And they would like to organize already a conference in 2005. Okay, we said no problem. But what we decided right away in the board, when you are organizing the conference, you have to ask for sponsoring yourself. It's not the EGPA, like an umbrella organization, that is organizing money for your conference. So that is the responsibility of the country who is organizing. Okay, that was a problem because there was also a common link with Europe when they're organizing that. So there was sponsoring would be enough. I think that was a good start to be there in London, because it was also for me the first time that we marched in uniform in the Gay Pride, because that was already well known in London. So in the Netherlands, we already said, how is it possible that the conservative English people or UK are doing that, and in Holland we are not doing that? It taken few years, and we did in Holland the Pink Saturday Pride, we call it in Holland. What I just remember of 2005, there was one person from Spain, Victor Aguilet. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name well, but Victor. And Victor was the only person. Victor had just a little accident with his leg, so he couldn't march all the way, but was sitting in the car. And why I'm mentioning him, because I always said in other conferences, it mostly starts with one or two persons to organize this in your country. Just make some little group together and just you can organize it. For Victor, it was in 2000, I think in 2000, after Stockholm. I don't know how Stockholm was in 2000. 2005 London, 2006 was Stockholm, and 2008 was Barcelona. What I say, just that Victor organized in himself with other people in Barcelona the third conference, or the fourth was it then, including Amsterdam, of the EGPA. He did a very, very, very good job. But then from London we went to Stockholm, to Sweden. Sweden had much people who are very active in the LGBT organization at the police as well. Göran Stanton, now he's still active. Janet Larson, she lived around Malmö. And what I just remember there, it was when we walked also in the parade, there was big enthusiasm from the Swedish people, who are just waving and celebrating and applauding that we were walking by. It was just, it was touching that happened, And we had a wonderful time there. It was a good conference, and I think that is what every time happened when you organize a conference. You are on the 8-hour clock news on television. It's in every country, it's news, big news. And that is also our plan. How can we people letting know we are there? Now, that was very easy, because then there came the papers, interviews, and all those things. From 2008 was Barcelona. And Victor with his previous Manuel Gonzalez, he's still on the board, I think. Yeah, Manuel. He lives in Sitges, and he took over at a certain moment later from Victor. But they organized it a wonderful in a place because it was not to cost much money, and in a student hostel or something like that, but in a university building. In the summertime, it's empty, so you can use it. So they did it very well. And also there in Spain, then you think Spain, oh, that's very conservative. Yes, that's right. Catalonia is not that conservative. So around Barcelona, it was not really a problem. In Sweden, there was already LGBT police organization, and in Spain, they started with Gay Lesbian. Gay Lesbian was raised there. And Also there, there we had also a small Pride March, I think. It was a bit small, I think. I can't really remember. And after that, but I organized and the sponsoring everything was okay. So as the board of the EGPA, you don't have to worry about things. It's a delegation in the country that is doing that. And they're doing a very good job. At least that's my experience. And from Barcelona, we went to Vienna. That was Ewald Wiedi was the organization of that. And they organized also very well. Also, the sponsoring was very well organized. The building where we stayed was very well. And the Pride March was also very, very good. And what I said before, also in Spain, also in Austria, 8 o'clock news, LGBT people were there and were marching in the Pride and interviews and you name it. The conferences we did with workshops. So every time, sometimes the workshops are just repeating because I new in a new country, and that's normal. And so I think what we also achieved, not only for the police inside, but also for the people, for the citizens. We are there to serve the citizens, and there are gay LGBT citizens who hardly wanted to go to the police or are afraid or whatever. At least when they know that they are inside the police people who can help them. So we have in Holland, we have the Pink in Blue organization. And then you can go there to the police station and ask for them. Not every station has those people, of course. That's normal. But in the bigger cities, it's like that. So and it's not only for the police, but what I said, citizens, but also for the national LGBT organizations. When we are on the 8-hour news, then they are just in the shade, also new. And sometimes, because I wasn't there, because I retired in 2011, and 2012 there was Dublin. And Paul Franey, I don't know if he's still on the board, but when I was on holidays in Gran Canaria some years ago, he visited me and just talking about how to go on and so on. And Paul Franey had just very well organized it in Dublin, and they were received by the president of Dublin. And Ireland is a Catholic country, and I think that, but only what I think or hope. After the conference of EGPA have been there was a support also for the organization in Ireland, and 2 years later or 1 year later, the marriage for gay people in Ireland was achieved. Then something I hope that the EGPA was a little helpful for this, but okay, that is imagination. I just understand. But it can bring a move, and that is what we do. And I think that's a good, what we also discussed in the board, because that came in discussion from, we have to do something in legislation. I said, that's a nice idea and that's very ambitious. But when you want to do something like that in the EU, in the organization, it's already in countries, it's a problem. Every country has its own legislation. I said, please, when you want to change something, you can look to another country if they change something and just take it over. But as EGPA, just to try to organize it, my reason was mostly I said, yo, come on, guys, keep it simple. Or girls, keep it simple. Because then you can move forward. And there was France with FLAC. Would like to organize much earlier than Vienna, but they didn't succeed. Then Alain Parmentier was already in the beginning. Michel Boucheron was also in the beginning. And there was Steve Bouilly. Steve was very enthusiastic, but he couldn't make other people just enthusiastic to organize it in Paris. I know that later on Paris was also there. And I think that to have an organization like this, keep it simple, respect each other. We are with different cultures around the table. So just respect that it is like that. And another success from the EGPA was when the people from Italy came in Amsterdam. Of course, I don't want to be photographed. They want to make photos because people don't know that I'm gay. But a few years later, it was Simona Cimaretta. She is the right name. I hope so. Yeah, okay. Cimaretta she started as a first president there because the guys were a bit not easy to do that. And she did it. And that was Police Aperta, was raised in Italy. So through all the things that we did, they started in countries an organization like in Spain, in Austria, in Holland, in Sweden. And from there, they can move forward. And you can ask your colleagues in the other countries when you start, like the people in Greece also started something, I think. And how do you do this? How do you do that? What shouldn't you do? Or what should you do? Because that's very important. There are do's and there are don'ts. And in my opinion, just move slowly forward. Because otherwise, the defensive inside of the police will be too big. And the only thing to let it work, that the hetero guys in the organizations support you and know you is a good job, and just the guys who are in charge are the most important things. Sorry to say so, but it works like that. And there are a few from that, and okay, wonderful, just go on with that. Then it can work. And I think that history proved that it worked. And as a founder of the EGPA, of course, I'm very proud that after 20 years, they still exist. So the fundament was right. And the people who just step by every year again, ook after 2011, just keep it survive. So Thomas Ulmer from Germany was also very important. He was also from the beginning, was he there? So it's also important that some people are staying there, like Ellen Parmentier, like Thomas Ulmer, and I think Ewald Wildy has been stopped. He is not in the board anymore because the whole organization was a bit rebel. How do you say it? Bumping. But nevertheless, yeah, of course, people come and people go. Like you are retired now, and then you say, okay, it has been a wonderful time. I enjoyed myself very much, but it's also to do with the people who are active in police work to go on. Otherwise, we stay in a grey club, and there must be young people who just move the EGPA forward. That is what I think about.
That was Jan Snijder, providing an insight into the early years of EGPA. I hope that you found it interesting and informative. We will be producing more podcasts during the 20th anniversary year, so please subscribe and also share the podcast on your social media. I'm Alan Snedden. Until next time, goodbye.